what makes our life comfortable here. And we have learned many things over the years. Simple, shabby, but it works for us. Good morning everyone, welcome back to our Portuguese homestead. Today I want to give you a more of a behind the scenes look into what makes our life comfortable here on our land. A lot of these things are pretty normal for a lot of people, but since we are off grid, we've had to set up everything ourselves, and we have learned many things over the years about what works and what doesn't, and how you can make your life comfortable enough that it's actually nice to live off grid and not just a constant struggle of having to deal with your basic needs and never getting any further than that. To start with, I'm sitting in our yurt, and this yurt has really been a great move. I won't get into the story of how we've got here in the end, but this yurt has really enabled us to be here comfortably for a good few years while we clean the land, and now we're finally getting to the point where we can hopefully, if the digger starts working again, start building a house. But because we knew it would take a while to get to this point, we thought a yurt was really the best option for us, and that's for a couple reasons. We came here in our campervan, but a campervan is really not great to move around in, to live in long term. We lived in it for almost a year before we moved into the yurt, and it worked. It was fine, but especially now that we have 2 kids instead of 1, I'm very happy that we have the yurt. And why we chose a yurt instead of a bell tent or a cabin is because this we can move if we want to, and we need, or maybe we need to. And things like a bell tent or a safari tent, they maybe look great, but they're really not meant to live in long term, especially in the winter. If you've been camping, you know that if it's colder and you're in the tent a lot, condensation happens, and so living in that kind of tent, it's really hard to keep all your stuff dry and mold free, and that's kind of an important part to really, like, for that to be healthy to live in there. And that's also because it doesn't have any insulation. So our yurt has double felt insulation, and that combined with our wood burner means that it gets really nice and warm and dry inside, and we don't have any issues with condensation. So it keeps the heat in very well as well. And sometimes it can get very hot if we have the fire pumping, which is not something that you can achieve in a bell tent or a safari tent. It's been really great to have this extra floor space for the kids to play on, to have a place for our books. It's still not ideal because I would like to have more storage space, but it works for now, and we're pretty happy in it. A regular day would start with a shower for most people, and we've had running water for a while, but we never put in a gas powered shower, and I'm really not sure about why we didn't bite the bullet for this one sooner, because it's really made a big difference, because hot water on demand is just a great thing. There are some ways to do solar heating for a shower, but of course that doesn't work if you don't have any sunshine. So a gas powered heater is really a great way to have hot water when it is like it has been for the last few weeks, just rainy, cloudy, when there's no hot water coming from the tap that's in the black pipe. So that has been a really great addition to our life and has made it a little bit more comfortable. Our running water comes from one IBC tank that we have covered in plastic and put a little bit further up the hill. Because we are on a hill, we can make great use of gravity feeding all our water and have running water that way. But if you don't have that, there are different ways of doing that, but that's just a Google search away. For us, we've made use of this hillside, and this tank provides all the water that we need for the shower and for the dishes and for the washing machine. It comes from 2 different wells, our big well and our small well, and in both of them we have a pump. I will link some videos where we install that, which brings me to doing the laundry. I know I've said it before, but I really feel like it needs repeating that a washing machine is really one of the greatest inventions of all time. Especially if you have a family, you know that it just takes a lot of laundry. And I know that there are a lot of people here in the area, and some of them are on YouTube, and they just go to the laundrette. But from experience, I can tell you that it takes a lot of money, and the washing machines there don't really clean your clothes properly because it's only a short program. The machine runs for 30 minutes total, and it basically just like that's just a quick rinse of a very, in my opinion, smelly laundry detergent, and then off you go. So for a long-term solution, going to the laundrette is just not a great option. Because we have enough solar and that's it. Because we have enough solar, we are able to run just a standard washing machine. But if you have a smaller system, I would highly recommend one of those camping washing machines where you dump in the water yourself and let it soak and let it spin and do all the things. They really don't have to cost much, and you don't need massive amounts of solar for them, and it's just so much better for your clothing than the really bad washing machines at the different stores here in Castelo Branco. Yes, this is an attack on all those stupid machines. So yeah, we are very happy with the setup as we have it right now, because kids equals laundry all day, every day. Okay, as I'm editing this, I realized that I forgot to mention a kind of important part, which is electricity. So we are solar powered. We have solar panels, the whole shebang, an inverter, batteries, and then we also have a petrol generator as a backup, which we sometimes use when the batteries get too low because we haven't had good sunshine in too long, which has happened a couple times over the last few weeks. But our solar system is really what makes a lot of these things possible. As I said, we run our water pump on there, we run our washing machine on there. In the summer we run the fridge on there. We don't have that on in the winter because we don't really need it. At the moment we actually have it set up a little bit differently. So we have a few 280, 300 watt panels. Right now we have 3 of them hooked onto our solar generator. I will link the one that we have down below in the video up here. And we've done that because the lead acid batteries that we have, we should have never bought. But at the time, lithium ion was a little bit more expensive than it is now. If we went back, I would have gone for the lithium. I would have gone for the lithium batteries because they can take much more. They can do many more cycles, so it's really worth the money. And the solar generator that we have is lithium iron phosphate. Anyway, that is to say, that's how we run all our electrical things for for everything that we need, and that just makes life a lot easier. And what I wanted to say with this specifically as well is that this is also why I always say don't spend all your money just on the land, because putting up the infrastructure that you need to make your life more comfortable doesn't have to cost that much, but it will cost you a bit of money. And you can see on various YouTube channels that if you don't have that money and you only have a small income coming in each month, you will forever be struggling. It will just take forever to be comfortable again. And I mean, you do you. If you want to do that, that's totally fine. But it doesn't have to be that way. It just requires more upfront costs to buy something like a yurt, and to buy something like even a small solar system is gonna cost you a couple €1,000. So don't spend all your money on land thinking you can just like save up as you go for these things, because they take quite a bit of money. So, and now back to what I was saying yesterday. Which brings me to my least favorite job, which is the dishes. We're not great at keeping up with the dishes. We don't like to do them every day. One day, I hope to be able to have a washing machine, even if we can just run it when the sun is shining. That would be a great thing, because dishes are terrible. I just don't like doing it. So, but for now, we have to do it by hand. And once again, running water takes a little bit of work and not even that much money to set up, but it makes your life so much easier. And again, this is coming from the experience that we've had living without running water, is that it's just not a good time to haul water, to haul buckets, to have to be so involved in your basic everyday life. So this water comes from the tank and just goes through the tap, and it's been a great thing. And that's the dishes. One thing that I haven't seen much on off-grid channels, and I think maybe it's just a little bit, people don't like to talk about it. It's maybe just a little bit embarrassing or something, I don't know, but it's the toilet. There's a great kids book about this. Everyone needs a toilet. So we have a composting toilet, and I know, trust me, I know it looks a little bit shabby, but this is one of those things where we thought, it's there, it works, we don't want to invest too much money or time or effort into this because it's only temporary. So I know it only has one roof plate where it should have two. I know the bamboo is not a great privacy screen, but for now, as a toilet, it works. We have a 2-chamber system where we can move the toilet to the other side if this side is full, but it's not yet that time. Yeah, it works very simple. We use some wood chips that we get maybe every 6 months for 10-15 euros. We fill it up over the course of a year and a half, maybe 2, and then we let it turn to compost over the course of a couple of years. So that's our toilet. Simple, shabby, but it works for us. If you like this video and you want to see more of our life here on the land, I think you will really like this video. Or if you've already seen that, maybe this video. For now, that's it, and I'll see you next week.